Hi everybody. I have a quick question. What happens if you want to upgrade from your smartphone or a compact camera to a better camera, or just simply your old camera doesn't suit your needs anymore and you want to buy a better camera? In this case, you face the big question: which one to choose? These times you have to choose not only between brands, but also you have to choose between systems. Well, I hope to give you some answers in this coming video. Stay with me. Which is better, mirrorless or DSLR? Is DSLR still worth buying in 2021? Do professionals use DSLR? I think that today most probably will give different answers to these questions as few years ago. Things have changed a lot since the first mirrorless cameras have been released back, let's say, more than 10 years ago. It also seems that technology has reversed. In the past, the professional DSLR cameras were driving the market. Today, you can find the latest technological innovations in the mirrorless cameras. Just have a look on Canon's latest announcement, where they introduced a special technology that you can control certain functions in your camera with the movement of your eye. In the past it was simple. If you were a pro, then you went for a DSLR, and if you were a newcomer, most probably you chose a mirrorless. Or simply depending on your budget, you had to make a decision to choose between a small DSLR or a small mirrorless camera. But now also the big traditional camera manufacturers like Canon and the others are launching more and more advanced models also in the high end, and the mirrorless cameras are becoming pretty much the default style of photography. Today you have more choice than ever, and it is not easy to decide which is the best camera for you. But why would you remove the mirror? Basically, there are several good reasons to do that. No more dedicated and complicated mechanism driving the mirror. It will reduce camera shake and have a possibility to have a more compact and lighter camera body. Okay, but let's start with the basics. What is a DSLR and what is a mirrorless camera? What are the key differences? In the times when we were still using film cameras, there were the SLR cameras for advanced photography. And what SLR means, it is simply stands for single lens reflex camera. The camera had an interchangeable lens system, a mirror angled at 45 degrees, a mirror box, where this mirror was moving, a pentaprism, or in some less advanced cameras a pentamirror, so you just could see through the lens, having the optical viewfinder. When you press the shutter button, the mirror flipped out of the way and the shutter opened, letting the light fall on the film, and the image was taken. Later, when the film was replaced with a sensor, then the SLR system was kept, and we started to name them DSLR cameras, meaning Digital SLR or Digital Single Lens Reflex cameras. Now, what is a mirrorless camera? To make it simple, if you take a DSLR, remove the mirror box and the pentaprism, you will get a mirrorless camera. But in this case, you will still need something to see what you are shooting. You need to see your subject. And this can be an LCD screen, as we have on some small compact cameras, or an electronic viewfinder, as we have it in more advanced interchangeable lens cameras. But by the way, most probably we all have a mirrorless camera with us. And if you ask where, well, then just have a look on your smartphone. If you look on just definition, then basically a smartphone can be considered as a mirrorless camera. But now let's see what are the key differences between them. First, let's have a look on the size and complexity. Usually DSLRs were larger, thicker and heavier, and mirrorless cameras were smaller, thinner, and this is still like this for the cameras recommended to beginners and enthusiasts. But at the high end, this is already changing. As the companies are designing mirrorless systems for professional photographers, they get bigger and more robust. Just look on the latest Canon camera, the EOS R3, which is not a typical small and compact camera. In the past, usually DSLRs had a lot of buttons on the back, top or in the front of the camera, and you also had to have some kind of knowledge of photography to operate them. They were also designed to have a better ergonomic and to feel better in your hands, while mirrorless had less buttons and they were small and compact and they were much easier to operate. The other main difference was battery life. In case of mirrorless cameras, you always have your camera on because you always have to power the sensor, you need to operate the electronic viewfinder, even when you are just framing the picture. As a result of several developments in technology, battery life is getting much better, but DSLRs are still perform better in case of a normal photography. If you use your DSLRs in live view mode, then you are using much more power, just like in the case of a mirrorless camera. And if you want to record a video, then you have practically no benefit in battery life. The other area where there's great difference between DSLR and mirrorless cameras is the viewfinder. The DSLR cameras have optical viewfinders, while the mirrorless cameras have electronic viewfinders. Both have some benefits compared to the others. The benefit of an electronic viewfinder is that there is a lot better visibility in case of bright sunlight or low light shooting. You can even see the subject when your eyes can hardly see anything. But on the other hand, you have a short delay, so-called lag time, compared to optical viewfinders. In case of an electronic viewfinder, you can also show a lot more information in the viewfinder, like histogram, focus info, audio levels and so on. In case of a DSLR, you have something called the blackout when the mirror is down. In case of mirrorless cameras, thanks to recent developments of the viewfinder technologies, you can follow the subject without any blackout, like for example Canon has it on the EOS R3. There is a really nice feature on the mirrorless cameras. This is to shoot completely silent. This is great when shooting animals, pets, or in cases or situations when you want to keep the atmosphere of the moment and you don't want your subject to be disturbed by the shutter sound. Another great benefit of a mirrorless camera is that usually they shoot faster than the same category DSLRs. On the other hand, mirrorless cameras have something called rolling shutter, which is not an issue in case of a DSLR. As sensor technology advances, better and faster readout sensors are introduced, basically eliminating this rolling shutter effect. The latest example is Canon's EOS R3, where this is practically very similar to a normal DSLR. Focusing is another area where there's a big difference between a classical DSLR and a mirrorless camera. In the beginning, since DSLR cameras were using an external focusing sensor, this provided a more stable and faster focusing. Today, as sensor technology is getting more advanced, the situation is changing. This is also another area where the mirrorless cameras can provide more functionality. Canon, for example, developed a dual pixel focusing system which brings the traditional focusing face detection method to every pixel. Another benefit coming from using Canon's dual pixel focusing system is that the subject can be anywhere in the viewfinder and you can focus on it. Because the focusing system covers basically the full viewfinder area, while in case of a DSLR, you have to rely on the limited area covered by some limited number of focusing points, for example starting from 9 to over, let's say, 190 points, as in case of an EOS 1DX Mark III. Mirrorless cameras provide much more. Just an example, the Canon EOS R5 can focus on more than 5,900 positions, and in case of EOS R3 you can control the focusing system with your eye. The focusing system of Canon EOS R3 is supported by a deep learning technology. This will recognize and track a subject face and eyes with great accuracy and precision, and even when viewed from the side. People can be tracked even if they are wearing a mask, a helmet or sunglasses. This tracking ability is also available when photographing dogs, cats and birds, keeping them in sharp focus as they move. When photographing motorsports, the EOS R3 can also recognize motorbikes and racing cars, and even can distinguish between closed and open cockpits, pinpointing a driver's helmet when this is visible. Using Canon's next generation eye control autofocus technology, the EOS R3 focuses wherever you are looking. This can be a feeling like the camera is reading your mind. Another area where mirrorless cameras excel is the in-body image stabilization. In case of a DSLR camera, the image stabilization was built into the lens. Manufacturers released a number of lenses using optical image stabilization. This technology is very effective for lenses having longer focal length, but in case of wide-angle lenses, the in-body image stabilization helps to create better images. DSLRs don't offer in-body image stabilization with the help of a moving sensor. This technology was introduced in the mirrorless cameras, providing a 5-axis in-body stabilization, which is also giving you the benefit to have image stabilization even when the lens doesn't have a built-in optical image stabilization. For example, in the recent mirrorless cameras, Canon combines these two technologies, making the so-called combination image stabilization system, where optical and in-body stabilization helps each other to achieve a very effective stabilization effect, providing up to 8 stops. Recording video is also an area where mirrorless cameras excel. In case of a DSLR camera, video recording was provided by switching the camera to something like a mirrorless mode, using live view to record video. In case of a mirrorless camera, all the functionality supports video recording, starting from image stabilization, focusing, face, eye, subject recognition. If somebody plans to do vlogging or streaming, then really mirrorless camera is the preferred option. And finally, which system is better? Which system to choose, or which system is better for you, depends also on your type of photography. Some things you can already manage with your smartphone or point-and-shoot camera, but if you want to go one step further, you have to pick a more advanced camera. There are plenty of beginner-level mirrorless and DSLR cameras on the market. For beginners, enthusiasts, when it comes to choosing the right camera, mirrorless may be the right option, due to its simple controls, smaller size, easy to use touchscreen technology. It is much easier to use on all. Because of the electronic viewfinder, they are so-called what you see, what you get kind of cameras, and this will help you also to improve and develop your photographic skills faster. Maybe DSLRs offer a better battery life, larger lens selection, but on the other hand, they are bigger, bulkier. In case of video, only the high-end models will give you 4K video recording. Mirrorless cameras usually small and compact, less moving parts, more functionality, reliable video, supported by electronic viewfinder. The battery life might frighten you a bit, but not many of us shoot more than several hundred images without charging the battery. And if this is the case, then just have a spare battery with you. Regarding accessories, many of those was developed for DSLR cameras will be compatible with your mirrorless camera, and you can even use the compatible DSLR lenses with an adapter. And also don't forget that both DSLR and mirrorless cameras are not just camera bodies, but they are part of a system allowing photographers to use different accessories, lenses, and making it easier for people to cross over as their requirements develop. For an entry-level photographer or vlogger, my recommendation today would be for example, a Canon EOS M50 Mark II camera, which is maybe not the highest specs camera in the market, but it has a really good balance of features and price, and especially with the recent vlogging and streaming kits, it would be a good choice for somebody who would also like to start to enter the world of streaming or vlogging. If you are more advanced or want to experience the full-frame photography with a bigger budget, I would look into Canon's EOS R6, giving you an excellent functionality. In the near future, I also plan a video on vlogging and streaming, like what you should consider when you start doing it, or what equipment would you need, and so on and so on. So if you are interested in the topic, please subscribe, and also don't forget to click the notification button so that you can have the information when I publish the video. Also, you can let me know your ideas in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.